Welcome everybody to episode 10 of Chatting with Chargers. I'm your host, Thomas Maynard. Today we are here on campus. We are in the Bergami TV studio. We're here with a very, very special guest. I don't know if we'll be able to top this one. We've got the University of New Haven's very own president, Jens Frederiksen. Welcome to the show. If you'd like to introduce yourself to the audience at home.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm Jens Frederiksen and I'm the president of the University of New Haven. So yeah, thrilled to be here.
Can you start by telling us what led you to the University of New Haven becoming president and what excites you most about being the president here?
I guess I never thought I'd be a university president. Maybe I start there. I was a university professor once upon a time, and I guess you learn things about yourself along the way, and I guess I never thought I was going to be a university professor, and then sort of fell in love with teaching and having an impact, and this goes way back when I was a graduate student. I sort of stumbled into a PhD program and then just fell in love with the idea of making some kind of positive impact on students at a really pivotal time, the way that others had for me. And then sort of along the way discovered that universities are incredibly complicated mechanisms that, these days are certainly facing a really hard time, and I felt like I could positively contribute to that, sort of both from a business perspective, from sort of an understanding of the different parts, and so I ended up in administration at a university in Nashville, and it was an incredible experience, and kind of really got to appreciate what all areas of the university sort of contributes, from financial aid to enrollment to advancement to the CFO's office and the academic side of the house. And so somewhere, I guess you sort of stumble into things and then you find your purpose and you never really leave. And then had the opportunity to come here and sort of in the process got to know the university quite well. And obviously a huge believer in what this university stands for, the impact that it has, and I felt like I could contribute to that in some kind of way, and along with a brilliant team. And so went through a search process like these things go, and was incredibly fortunate to have been selected, and it's now been 20 months or 20 months. And it's been an incredible thrill, and I love it every single day. The newspapers say being college president is the hardest gig and nobody wants it. I am, every single day, I'm incredibly grateful that this is my role, that I get to contribute in some way, shape or form, alongside with others, to a formative experience for students that I believe rivals some of the best in the country.
And one thing that I've noticed that sets you apart from other presidents at different universities is you're not always in the office. Why is it important to you to sort of break out of the office and be on campus, connecting with students and connecting with anybody here on campus throughout the days?
Yeah, I do spend, I know it seems like sometimes I'm out and about quite a bit. I do spend an inordinate amount of time in the office, but I guess, the same way that we sort of have an open door policy in Maxi, and being out and around the campus, as much as we're running a sort of mid-sized business, we're in the business of transforming lives and not having a sense of what that means. If you live in a vacuum, right, and you think, let's teach the French Revolution the way it was taught in the 1960s, let's ignore AI, let's ignore that there's an industry out there, or every single sector of industry that is transforming at such a rapid pace. Let's ignore sort of the geopolitical climate that's incredibly complex. I think being in and around students is as inspiring for the administration or for me, because then anytime you go and identify a donor that can help with scholarships, that can help with buildings, if you're too far removed, and again, this may work for some, it just doesn't for me, it's actually what keeps me as motivated and as driven as I am is that level of engagement and transparency, right? If there's something that's not working, now it doesn't all need to go to me, it can go to, we have a whole administration that is literally here for no other reason than to see students succeed. And at the end of the day, that's success, right?
And what does a typical day look like for you when you're here on campus?
Oh, it's bananas. Let me I guess I can take today since
All
it's
right.
not far removed. Let's go through it. I was at the Greater New Haven Chamber at 8 a.m. this morning where I spoke, and I spoke by and large to try to, I think what we're doing is we're trying to build as many strong alliances for students as possible to gain pathways, whether it's internships or so connecting with that whole economic development arm. They'd asked me to speak, so that was at 8 a.m. this morning. Then I raced back to the campus. Then I had a call with Saudi Arabia and our marketing team around, that was at 9:30, came in on two wheels. And that was around, we're launching a preparatory program for students to take advantage of. And so it was something about a marketing rollout. And then there was a fundraising conversation somewhere in there. Then I went to the radio station briefly for a podcast around some sort of more, I want to call them philosophical, but sort of larger themes around higher education and resilience. And then I came back, I met with our athletic director around some things that we're pursuing in terms of game schedule. Now I'm here, then I go back to the office to meet with a private security firm. Then I have to look briefly at my travel schedule. I leave on Saturday for the Middle East, and then I have two closing out calls as I drive home, and then take I think it's my son that has soccer today.
How does this make the University of New Haven campus community unique from other universities?
How does being so actively involved?
Mm-hmm. How can that make our campus more unique, and how can that better help shape the students' lives?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, we're going to do this whole awareness campaign because I think some universities, and you've seen these struggles over the past few years, I think students know what faculty, I mean, they're in the classroom, having been one, right? So there's sort of a tangible impact. There's offices on the campus, like the Career Development Office. People have a pretty clear sense. There's a tutoring service. But what does the administration writ large really do? What does the head of advancement do every day? What does the provost actually do? What does a dean? And so we're going to sort of run this social media campaign, because I think it's important for students to understand that they would find no other administration that is as much on, I mean, there's things you can disagree about how it's done and the way in which it's done, but we have an incredible team of administrators, from the head of advancement to the head of enrollment to the head of student life, that every day fighting tooth and nail, now the VP of innovation, fighting tooth and nail to deliver on the student experience. And I do think that there is a level of uniqueness to that kind of hands-on, and so some way reflective of the student body too and the faculty, that we're all sort of in the weeds, really battling for the success of students and then ultimately for the success of the university. And I think, I mean, maybe this is my own bias, but I think these institutions where everybody's terribly far removed, I think the climate's too complex. I think students want people on their side, administrators, and that's not that they're always going to agree, but to know that there is a whole group of people who get up every day and fight to recruit the next generation of students, who fight to develop new academic curriculum programs, who integrate AI, who fight tooth and nail to get the donors that will help offset scholarships. I think that's really important, and I think we're as good as it gets in that domain.
And one thing you mentioned was the campus in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
What other priorities do you have for the university for students to look forward to in the next few years?
Huge. We've got so many. If I could sum it up in a single phrase, I would love for us at the University of New Haven to be defining the next generation. Because American higher education public confidence is sort of at an all-time low. Though I did see there was a tiny positive bump. I attribute that to the University of New Haven. But I think to be the institution that leads the call on delivering a return on investment. And this is, academics easy, it's A's and B's, right? Professional development, internships and placements, student life, like how do we prepare this student body to be uniquely able to take on a very complicated world? And so for me, anything that we do, whether it's the innovation park or whether it's a new business school, it's all to try to create a community that we can look each other in the eyes when students step off the stage on graduation, and it'd be like, man, there was incredible experience. I'm now going to work for Medtronic, or I'm going to work at Yale Hospital, or wherever, right? But that there is some understanding, and I feel prepared as an individual to do that. I think answering that call is sort of philosophically the overarching theme that would matter to me. And everything is, all the things that we're doing from facilities and even D1 and some of these things, the sort of thing, are all sort of subsidiary to that larger theme of answering a call at this moment in time to deliver an experience that rises to the times.
And within this, how do you see students, what do you think their role will be in shaping the future of the university?
Well, I mean, anytime you do something, you need student leadership, and there's accountability, right? I mean, so there is, if I mean, take a basic example, but if we sign a partnership agreement with, I don't know, let's stay with Medtronic for a second, and there's 15 sort of robotics opportunities, or there's accounting major, and students are sort of like, oh, I don't feel like showing up today, then that doesn't, there's accountability on all fronts, right? And so I think, for students to realize that this rising to this moment in time takes all of us. It takes the faculty, it takes the administrators, it certainly takes students to really push the envelope on this becoming a place where people come with purpose and they leave with purpose.
And if you could give one piece of advice to students, not just academically, but personally for their lives going forward, not only as college students, but as adults that will be working and contributing to society, what would you say to them and why?
Oh God, that's a big one. If I may tackle it in just a couple of little piecemeals, I would say never sell yourself short. I think we're all struggling with, are we good enough, or can we rise to this challenge? I mean, I struggle with everybody. Maybe some people don't, but the best you can do is always, at every instance, and this takes a lot, put your best foot forward. This idea of, oh, let me sort of stick my toe in and give it, I mean, then yes, if you were to fail, then there is an excuse. I didn't fully apply myself. But having the courage to throw yourself completely at anything that you do, and you may like it, you may not like it, but you don't really ever know unless it's all of you going at it. And then I would say, I guess to me that's tied up with resilience. The idea that the world is moving the way that it's moving. How can be prepared to not give up on the world, but contribute to it, maybe?
And we spoke about having student leadership. How can students get involved with student leadership, and why is it important for students to connect not only with their fellow students, professors, but also the administration and the higher ups within the campus?
Well, I mean, let's start with sort of organizational leadership. Anytime you have to manage an organization of any magnitude, I think it gives you the perspective of taking on board the different constituencies, and it's not, we talk, I mean, there's this incredible misnomer out there around soft skills, right? And yet the world is I mean, AI can do a lot of things, and so can all this automation and machinery and technology, but the ability to motivate people, to work alongside people, to communicate, to get the best out of one another, I think that's honed in leadership roles of any kind, and it's going to take that, even if one doesn't, I mean, nobody's going to step right off the campus into sort of a major leadership role, but in organizations, in people's personal lives, I think the skills that are honed in those settings are vitally important for life success, and of course it's vital to work alongside other leadership groups to get the best out of it. I would say it's even more granular than that. We have students every year who choose, maybe don't choose, but maybe are struggling in one class and don't tell anybody about it. We need to sort of lock arms. I mean, we've got tutoring service, advising service. There's so many, but we all collectively, and part of this is student ownership, student leadership, taking a buddy that you know is things that are, hey, let's get this done together.
And now we are going to transition over to questions that were sent over to our Instagram by students and alumni of the university. Our first question, have you used Yik Yak? If you have, what do you think about it? And if not, do you plan on using it?
No, I do not plan on using it. And I mean, do I know that it exists? Yes, I know that it exists. But in all fairness, I find this, for example, with Instagram, and I'm clearly not particularly sort of versed in it, but it does have a way in which it just kind of sucks you in, right? Mm-hmm. You look at one image, and then it's the next image. I mean, it's the same as when you're sort of searching events of the day, and then it takes you to one more interesting story, and it's sort of a spiral. I quite frankly cannot go down any more rabbit holes simply because I'm dividing my time between here and then my family. I see it in my kids who are young, how, I mean, he's got a phone, it doesn't fully do all of these things, but I mean, it is sort of an endorphin rush, and so no, I resist that.
What's your favorite section of the marching band, and why is it your favorite?
Oh no, I'm not going to identify a single favorite. Honestly, the marching band blows me away, and I've told individuals this as I leave the game. I mean, what an incredible. I mean, you want to talk about hype. You want to talk about and obviously I know Jason, and so I'm just. It is something so unique. In fact, I'm hopeful that we can showcase it even more. I mean, so again, my favorite might be the one if I was musical or I could play. My son plays the flute. Okay. I'm not. I can't carry a tune. So I'm just blown away by what they do, and I've gotten to sit in their van, and yeah, no, I'm a fan.
Growing up, what did you see yourself doing? And how different from being a university president? Yeah,
so I guess my story's a bit unique insofar as my entire childhood was defined by, I was one of those child prodigies. I was a tennis player, signed a bunch of contracts way too young. And so, I mean, I remember waking up in the middle of the night lifting sort of crystal vases, pretending that it was Wimbledon. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, I failed miserably and also didn't try hard enough. So in some ways, that failure became the platform to which I try everything else in my life to at least put myself on the line.
And to bridge from that, what's the coolest thing that you've ever done in your life? And do you think you'll ever be able to top it?
That would be a disappointing thing if I didn't think I could, right? Then I might as well. I mean, it's not lost on me. I have lived again, I attribute that to the fact that I do genuinely try, and anybody can sort of call me out on this. I genuinely try, no matter what interaction or with whom, I always try. Ever since I failed miserably at tennis and so I've had an existential reckoning around this, I have certainly tried for the last 20 some odd years to put my best foot forward. So I've experienced, I mean, I've written a script for Morgan Freeman. I think what we've been able to do here at the university is incredible. I mean, it's hard to, I've played in a Junior World Cup in Peru, things that I never thought I'd be able to do. But I would say I hope the best is still to come. And I hope that the best is reflected in something that we get done. If we achieve that goal of becoming sort of the one institution that rises to the times, I would think that would be the...
And a lot of students wanted to know, what is the purpose of the campus in Saudi Arabia, and will it be something like Prato, Italy, that students from here can go and study in, or if not, what is it going to be used for?
Yep. Take one step back, because I just talked about the professional people. Being married and having kids, I mean, anything my kids do, I'm sort of smitten and over the moon. They are definitely the weak spot in this equation. As for Saudi, not going to be like Prado, insofar as Prado isn't a degree granting. It's right. It's sort of a study away. Right. I think Prado's a wonderful thing, and we'll continue, hopefully, to ideally over time build it out a little bit. Because I think it offers such a unique experience. I think the Saudi thing will also have that component where students could go spend a semester or a year in Riyadh, which is, I'm sure, an incredible experience, having been there now quite a bit. but it will actually also have the ability, done right, to deliver some of the actual degrees on ground, right? So if you're a sports management major, you could begin and finish in Riyadh. And I think, so in that sense, I mean, the feasibility study that was designed for it builds it out more like a campus, more similarly to here. Now that's going to be a gradual set of developments and program launches, but I think it begins, and it's not the only, I mean, we're doing some things in India and we're doing some things elsewhere. It begins to take this kind of global educational model that I think is so important to domestic students as much as international students. And to sort of wrap up the interview, do you have any final words or thoughts you would like to send to the students and alumni of the University of New Haven? I think we have built an incredible amount of momentum in a very, very difficult climate. I think very difficult climates do lend themselves to the opportunity to redevelop something. And reinvent might be too strong, but I think what we're doing is answering the call of the times around, is higher education even worth it? What about these astronomical costs, which are far more complex than what people see? So my hope is that everybody, it's going to take everybody. It's going to, like, I can't be in every dorm room sort of knocking on the door, go say, take advantage of tutoring, nor can every other administrator. It's going to take us collectively kind of saying, we're going to get something incredibly inspiring done that will chart the next great chapter. And that's going to take current students, recent alums, and all of us sort of leaning in to that experience and saying, 3-5 years from now, man, can you believe the University of New Haven kind of spearheaded this? Well, thank you so much. No, what a pleasure. Thank you all for watching episode number 10 of Chatting with Chargers. I don't know if we'll be able to top this. We're going to try. We always do. If you would like to see more from us, you could check us out on Instagram at Chatting with Chargers. We're posting over there daily, every day. And new episodes drop Fridays at 12 p.m. Next week, it's going to be Halloween. So we hit the Maxi Quad to talk about Halloween and fall favorites with the students. So we're going to extend a special thank you to, of course, President Jens Frederiksen for being here today. I would also like to extend a special thank you to Charger Bulletin News for lending us some of their crew members. And a special thank you, of course, as always, to the crew of Chatting with Chargers for being here, showing up, and supporting us every week. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week, everybody.